Hi there. It is the 17th of April, uh, Wednesday. The only way I know that, by the way, is that it's written on the board across the way. Uh, so don't be too impressed. It is T plus 15, 15 days after my transplant and my introduction to my new Israeli friend. Um, it's really interesting. My numbers um, are starting to move in the right direction, which is really an amazing thing to watch because the numbers are posted once a day. They take the last blood count probably at about 4 o'clock. They go to the lab and then it comes back. And I remember last night, I don't remember a lot about last night because I was really upset, but I do remember last night saying that we are resilient creatures. And God knows we are. We seem to be capable of so much more than we think we are, especially when it comes to survival and and the notion of survival. I'll probably give you a good example, um, and I hope it makes sense because I can't really be sure that it will. So I'm not sure it makes sense to me either. My white blood count almost doubled from yesterday. Went from zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.7. I think my hemoglobin, I think, stayed the same at 8.3. That's still really low. As I've said before, normal for a male adult is 13.7 on the low side. Um, Platelet count is 19. Uh, Last night I got a Neupogen shot. Neupogen is a chemical that helps helps force uh, white blood cell production. So any increase in white blood count can be attributed to the shot. I got another one tonight on the other side. Um, but platelets are a whole different thing. And the platelets have come up. And generally speaking, the only reason that they come up is because um, the stem cells are working, they're grafting. Uh, Now, under normal circumstances, that would be miraculous in and of itself. I mean, somebody else's stem cells are inside your body, uh, taking up residence, grafting themselves to your big bones, uh, making sure that you have a chance for survival. Um, that's nuts. I mean, it's mad science as far as mad science can go. Um, so that should be cause for great celebration. I mean, it should be cause for being really happy and feeling really good about the future, feeling good about yourself. But my wife and my daughter and our friend Janice went to the caregivers uh, orientation, which is the orientation that's given to those folks that are within 15 or 18 days of release from the being an inpatient and going to the hotel for the next 100 days. And they made sure that they let everybody know at this meeting, amongst all the other things that they were discussing, but they let everybody know at this meeting that there are going to be setbacks. In other words, the statistical probability is that you're going to be readmitted to the hospital with an infection, with uh, any one of a number of other problems, and that you shouldn't be alarmed. Well, let me tell you something. After being here for 15 days, there's plenty to be alarmed about. Uh, the good news is that if you've made it 15 days and you've gone through the worst of the chemotherapy, or at least you've gone through a chunk of the chemotherapy, um, the statistical probability is that you can make it another 15 days, or another 45 days, or another 60 days, or another 120 days. because we are resilient creatures, and there is something that motivates us to survive more than anything else. If you go back to that whole issue of Maslow's hierarchy, the need for survival, the need for physiological needs being satisfied is one of the primary needs. And I guess that's where I'm coming from now. I mean, I'm not looking forward to coming back in here after I get out, which is, you got to bear with me for a second. That sounds absurd because I haven't gotten out yet. So, I mean, however, I have made up my mind that whatever it takes to beat this thing and to come out on the other side whole again is something that I'm committed to doing. And there's no question in my mind that I'll be capable of doing it because there's no alternative. And we go back to that circular argument about no alternative. It's really easy to be brave when there's no alternative. It's really easy to be brave. It's not about being brave is not about overcoming fear. Being brave is doing what you need to do in spite of the fear. So that's where we are right now. And I think it's an important thing for all of us to recognize. I think it's important for you, for me, for everyone to recognize that we got to do what we got to do, and that's all there is to it. When we go back to the hotel, there are lists and lists of papers of items that my wife has to take care of daily. How often the sheets have to be changed. The fact that food that she prepares can't sit outside for more than an hour without being consumed. The fact that it can only be certain kinds of food, and that that food has to be prepared a certain way. And everything is with an eye towards ensuring that there's no possible way of letting an infection take hold, because that's the end of the whole thing. So I guess the final thing I want to say about that is that none of us get there on our own. None of us, I don't know of anybody that's capable of doing this by themselves. If you're fortunate enough to have a wife like mine, kids like ours, grandkids like ours, it makes it a little bit easier because everybody mobilizes and focuses on that one singular goal of getting you well and out of here again. So just keep that in mind, I think. You have that responsibility and that ability to overcome all of these things and survive the unsurvivable. Okay, I'm going to leave you now because they're coming in to change shifts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, yay! They're coming in to change shifts, and I've got all my beautiful nurses here.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So sweet.